Hello and welcome back to another building video. Today I'm going to be building the smear part. If you don't know who Smear is, they made the level Soul or System. It's one of my favourite 2.1 levels. There's a lot of eerie art and strange designs, some great colours, and it's just all round a very unique style. So I'm going to be basing my part off of this part and the previous one. I think I can merge them together quite well. I'm going to start off by separating this part into 3 sections. The way I'm going to do this is make it look kind of cracked. So with the use of this object, I will scale it, rotate it, and move it around so I can make some sort of jagged line. So there's the first one. So now I'm going to select all of this, copy and paste it, turn it around, and move it along to where I'd want it to be. I think there's pretty good. And now I'm just going to edit this to make it look nothing like the other one. The next step is to add this to another color group. So in this case it is 19. And then lay out some colours. So I want some pastel-y colours, like so. A fade time of 2, make the colour ID 19. Then copy and paste that, move it along by 1, and then just slowly go around the colour wheel. Okay, I've gone around the colour wheel now. So all I need to do now is click Create Loop, select all of these, and make it 0.2. And now I have a rainbow spawn loop. Next thing I need to do is fill this in, which is going to be quite difficult. So I'm going to be using these blocks here, scale them up and warp it so that it matches. That looks like that will match. Not quite yet. There you go, that's matched. I just need to keep going through and doing this. So I'll time lapse this. Good, I think that's pretty optimized as well. Look at that, 16 objects for all of that. So I'll just make this black. Now I want to set out my structures. So if I go back to Soul or System, I'm going to keep a copy just for a reference. These are the kind of structures that I'm looking for. So I want some saturated colors, I want black and white, and I want them to pulse. Okay, yeah, I can do this. I also want colored and glowy spikes. Oh, this isn't a bad run. See how far I can get. So this is the part that I'm going to be basing the part that I just made off of. God, 39%, not bad. I think this is a decent structure. I'm going to actually add something else in the middle of it because I think that could look pretty cool. Most optimized way of doing that would be having 3 objects. These ones need to be scaled up all the way, and that just by 2. Good. So now I can delete the default blocks. I think I might fill this in for now. Cool, I'm really going for the optimization here. This is barely any objects. So now that's filled in, I'm going to change the line color, so that's this color here, to 21, which will be black. That'll be my pulsing black. And I'm going to do the same with these spikes here. There we go. There will be a background, and the background color will change slightly. In fact, I might do that now just to make it easier to see. I think a dark blue is very Smear style, or actually a darker purple. I might change the background itself to a more simple one, like that. Let's see how this looks so far. It's not going to look very good. It does help me visualize things. Yeah, brilliant. I can see this working. So I think this center section here is going to be my colorful bit, and then I'll have a line of color here as well. So I will add the lines for that now. One there, and move the spike up the layers as well. And this can be 19, and this can be copy color 19, and then saturation and brightness all the way up. Then I need a central block, which can be moved up a layer, and have that, but with the hue changed and the brightness down slightly. And then copy the values of that. Have a piece of glow, paste state, paste color. I'm going to actually move it to 77, have this one around 50, and then I'll copy this, turn it around and move it up, and make that around 25. And there we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. And now I can very easily copy this, move it in line with this, and then scale it up. And now I have a cool border on this. I might actually go onto a new one, do copy color 22, and then move the hue all the way down. These need some shading. I'm going to move over to these glow pieces, scale the X up by 2, copy that over to the other side, and then place one of these down. Now I can move it up a layer, add it to the next 3, and make it a low opacity black. This is looking good. Now I want to add details to this block. In Smear's designs, they had some lines, so I'm going to use that. I think I can slightly one-up Smear on this, which is not something I would say lightly. But I do have a cool idea that I think might work. So I want one of these lines, and I'll move it in place to where I want it. I think I might want that a bit longer. 2 is sufficient. Then make that this colour, so 21. Then I want to copy the values of this, place one of these down and paste state, move it up by 1, then go into 22, and there we have it. This actually does need to go up a bit. There we go. Now I can copy and paste this around and add some connectors. This is a good start. It needs more though. I don't want to add too many lines because I want to add other textures to this. Okay, I think I'm nearly done with this, and that's done. That looks pretty clean. I want to add random bits of shading around here. So I shall place one of these and have the low opacity black on it. And I can just pop that around every now and again. Good. I've realised I made a little bit of a mistake. These need to be quite far down a layer. So down to B3 with these, -7. Then I want this to be B3, 1. This can all be B2. The spikes can be B3 and the glow can be B2. Now that means I can make designs for here. Nothing's going to be straight in this section. It's all going to be nice wonky lines. Because this is so art-based, I'm struggling to commentate. It definitely looks weird, but I think it will work further on. Instead of having a saw here, I might place a structure down here. Just a simple one. It just lets me expand on my idea a bit more. Now I can make more of the structure in this section. I might change the hue of these. That could look good. Just need to move it down by 1 so that it's underneath the outline. And then hue there. Yeah, that looks better. Good. It's looking weird, but that's kind of the idea. It's taken 40 minutes for me to make this. That's ridiculous. I'm usually known for my speed. Okay, so I can just copy and paste the shading over this one here. I might actually make a big amount of shading at the bottom there. That looks good. And I can transfer a couple of these lines down to here. I think this should be a bit brighter. So I'm going to put a piece of glow in the middle of it, scale it up by 4, and then warp it so it kind of matches the outline. So I think that would be good. Now I'm going to go into here and then go 22 blending. And actually I want 23 blending. Make it B1 and there we go. That's a little too bright, but I kind of like it. I like it enough to put it on the other one as well. That looks really good. Still needs to be scaled down a bit though. Lovely. Let's see this in motion. Yeah, I can't really fault that apart from the fact that that's too bright. Just go into here and then turn the brightness down. That's much better. In order for this not to be too repetitive, I'm going to work on a saw design. I have an idea for this. I'm going to turn animations off so it's less distracting. I want to make a flower. I should be able to make it fairly easily with the use of these objects. If I move that around there and move that around there, and then place one of these, turn it around and scale it all the way down, I now have myself a petal. How easy was that? So I want to add something in the center of this, like that, and make that a pinky colour. That's a nice flower colour. Then I can link these together. I still think these could have a little bit more texture, so I'm going to add a couple of these in here, scaled down just to make them feel a bit more intricate. I'm now going to go onto this, paste the colour, and move the brightness down slightly, and that should give it a little bit of detail. Great. Now I just need to replicate that on the other side. Select all, link it, and then copy and paste it, and see if I can get 6 in this. If not, I'll have to space them differently. Right, I'm going to have to very slightly space them differently. So unlink, move it down by 1, link, and that should be good. There's my flower outline. I didn't think it was too important, but it's going to bug me. I'm going to select all of these, copy and paste them, lock warp, and then just warp them ever so slightly down. And there you go, that looks a bit better. Now I want to make the center of this, so I'm going to place a circle down, scale it all the way down, and make it black. I need to move it onto T1 and then a high layer on T1. Then copy and paste this, lock warp it down, move it up a layer, and then go and make a yellow. I want an orangey yellow, like that, like an amber. And now I need to choose a texture. I think that would work well. And then I can make that a slightly more orange version of this. And then I want this on a low opacity. So I think black would be sufficient on a nice low opacity. And there we go, there's my texture. All there's left to do is unlink it, click on one of these central blocks and move it out the way. Select everything, go into next 3, which is 811, then go back up, do 812 and move them up. Now I can put a rotate trigger down for 811, around 812 for 10 seconds and rotates twice. Now every time I use this sort, I shall copy and paste and build helper. Just to make things easier, I'm going to add these to layer 78. Now I can go to 78, select each individual one and scale it to the appropriate size. Now these can go invisible, and I have myself some cool saws, smear style saws. There we go. I now need to play Solar System again so I know what the grounds look like. Okay, so wavy, and there's some interesting art assets in them. I think I'm going to try and make some stems for this. I'll do it in the most optimized way possible. My idea would be to have these, then just scale it like so, and there we go. That's the premise for the stem. So all I want to do is make that a dark green, copy and paste it and move it along, move it down a layer and make it black, and then copy and paste it and move it along again. I obviously need a leaf, so I'm going to select these, scale it down, then layer it under, make this hue 180, and then move this to hue 180 as well. The main thing I definitely need to do is remove the group off of that, then copy and paste the stem, move it around, and pop it on this one. I might lock warp it down a bit. And there we go. I think it's time to make these saws. So I'm going to copy and paste one of these, change the HSV to -90, make a spike with it, copy and paste it, turn it around and move it down, and then copy and paste it around. Now I want to make another spike with it, and this will just make it look a bit more jagged. I think I'm going to vary most of these. Now I'm going to add this to the next free group, place a circle down, add that to the next free group, and then copy the values and paste color, scale it into place, and then make a rotation that rotates the same as the other saws. Move this all the way down and across, link it together, copy and paste, build helper, copy and paste, build helper, remove link controls, and then I'm going to just rotate that around a little bit and then scale this one and rotate it slightly as well. Now I can enable link controls again and make these invisible. Nice. Time for the ground. So Smear used these bubbly things, and I think this will work quite well. So I'm going to layer it below everything and have it the inverted colors of these. So that needs to be on 1, then the detail needs to be the black. Good. I think I might add that to the top of the screen as well, not that it makes much sense. Good. That's looking lovely. Right, so that is half done now. I need to do the background, these blocks, and that's it. Maybe some effects and some pulses. Okay, I've added my pulses. I have an idea. I don't really know how this trigger works, but I'm going to go into the shader and make it player. Now, edit color. How do I make it white? Do I just do that? If I do all of it, would this make my player white? Yes, it will. And then I could just place another edit color trigger here and then do 0.2 as you exit. Will that work? It does. It does. Very nice. I think it's time for a time lapse where I just continue the deco that I've already made. Then after that I can add some more details. That is all done. I have a couple of ideas that I can do. The first one's going to be a little pillar that will go over the background. So I want to scale up a couple of these and just kind of make a cluster of vines. There we go. And all I need to do with this is add it to B4, copy color background, and then make the brightness slightly lower. That won't be very noticeable yet, but it definitely will help in the future. I'd like to add some arrows to this part. The idea is very simple. I have one of these. I want to copy the color of that, paste state, paste color, and change the hue to +90, and then make a little arrow with it. Then I'm going to copy and paste this along 3 times and make an alteration here by rotating and then rotating that, and then another by rotating the other way and rotating here, and then I'll move these in random directions. So I'm going to add these all to next 3 groups. So I have 884 to 886. This is a slightly more complicated loop, but it is still very easy. So I want to go here and go 884, and that goes on and then off again. Then I select both of these and just move up. And now for this last bit, I'm just going to move it over here, select all of them, create loop, and that is it. And it creates this. I do like this, however I think I can make it a little better by just putting them over each other, like so. That's nice and simple and works pretty well. Yeah, I like it. That part is definitely far from done. It is not a smear level without an eye, so I need to make an eye animation. This is something that I know how to do but have never done before, and I don't think it would be good for me to commentate over it. So I'm going to do this in another time lapse. It might have quite a few failed attempts. Those blinks are really convincing, and I like how they transition on. That is so cool. I'm really proud of that. I definitely need to use the reference again. I don't really have any background ideas, and I'm not keen on making art like that. It's not really my strong suit. I'd like to adapt the style slightly, and I don't think anything from this part would fit. I'm also really proud of the colour matching I've just done here. These two are different colours, and they fit the glow really well. Instead of making it a background that follows the player, I'm going to scale these up slightly and down here, like that. Copy and paste them along to about here and here, and then rotate them around so that I have a curve, like that. Now I want to fill it in. The obvious way of doing that would be having something like this and scaling it up. But I'm scared that even with link visible, I don't think that would work. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to scale it up here, and then warp it so it matches it as well as I can make it. And then I just need two of these to cover the excess. This needs to be on high layer of B4, so 150, that's pretty high. And these need to be on a very low level of B5. I've just added the colours that I want for this. I forgot to do it on that side, so that goes there. I actually think this should be a little more saturated. Now I'm going to copy and paste one of these and scale it up slightly and make a spike out of it. And just to fix the tip, I'm going to copy the values of this. Place a little spike down here, align it with the top, and paste state, paste color. And actually I'm going to scale it so it can match the angle a bit better. So this is going to go on the edge. I also need to fill it in with this color. So paste state, paste color, and warp it up. There we go. I now need to find the center of this, which obviously has to be in a really awkward spot. I think it was something like that. Nearly. It was over to there and then up by one. It's time to select all of these, add them to a new group, 904, add this to a new group, 905, and then make it invisible. Then place a rotate trigger here, 904 and 905, times 360, 1 with a move time of 10, that should be slow enough. Let's see how it looks. That works. I think I should only have one variant of my vines just for the background here. They can be like that, and then maybe I'll copy and paste them around and then do that. Should make it a little more interesting. Maybe I'll rotate it slightly. There we go, and I'll just fix this by placing it behind this. I think this could use some shading, so I'm going to hop back out of preview mode, scale up some glow all the way, move it to the edge, copy and paste it over to the other edge, and then copy and paste it and make a part of a circle. Then that can go in B5 and on black. I'm happy with this. I'm very happy with this. I have noticed that there is a broken rotation down here, so I'll have to fix that now. There are a couple of ways of fixing broken rotations. I know exactly what's happened here. The center group has broken. So I need to find the trigger for 816, and the center group is in 815. I'm just going to go here and here and here. So copy and paste this along, remove the group, and then add one of the objects to 815, and that should fix it. It has. Great. I think some particles coming out from underneath this would look good. That should be fairly easy to do because I can add them to B5, and then since they're on blending they will be underneath. So I just want to go into edit special, visual, and then just change it to a purpley colour and then a bluey colour, and then replicate that on the other side. That's looking good. I now want to add some details to this part, so I'm going to go to this layer and copy the values. Then I want to find some sort of brick block. So I found my brick block. I had to go all the way through twice. And I'm just going to paste these around with varying sizes. I definitely don't want to overcrowd it, but I want to fill the space. And this potentially is the last thing I want to do in this video. I am going to do something fairly interesting with these though. Okay, now I want to select all of these, add them to a new group, move into a place where there are no triggers. I've now placed a rotation trigger and I'm going to do 907, doesn't need a center group ID, no move time, degrees 3. And then copy and paste that, move it along, then -3 and create loop. This might be a bit quick, I'm not too sure. No, that's perfect. I think this part is done. Thank you very much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. Get ready for the showcase and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.